tonight is Nicole.
It is I.
It is her. It is
Nicole.
She. Nicole.
How
are you? You are me.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Because tonight...
How are the collective you?
The royal you?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh. Well. We are well.
It's good that you're speaking for everyone.
That was your question. Cobweb, that's what we're talking about tonight. A newish, within the last year, 2023 horror film on Hulu. This was one of those, gotta fill in the gaps, going through streaming. Didn't feel like doing the Bob Marley movie. I did see the new Madam Web, but that was more of morbid curiosity and then actually gonna review it. So we landed on this because it was in 90 minutes, and I had heard about it somewhere, but I was like, it looks fine to do. I'm assuming you didn't hear about this at all, and that the only reason you watched just because I aforementioned what I just said.
Yeah, that's a very fair assumption.
Young Peter is plagued by a mysterious constant noise from inside his bedroom wall, a tapping that his parents insist is in his imagination. As his fears intensify, he starts to believe that his parents are hiding a terrible and dangerous secret. This has a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes with the critics, 71 with the audience, 50% Metacritic, 6 IMDb. Doesn't get much more split than that. That's a pretty
it's pretty standard.
It's a pretty middle-y divided by critics and audience alike. But if you haven't seen Cobweb, I was going to say theaters, not theaters. Hulu is where you see this. Middle scores, 90 minutes. Any people you know in this? It's got a Homelander from The Boys and the one girl from Mean Girls. The Lebanese girl, Lizzie Kaplan, and Samuel Bowden, the director, French gentleman. So that's enough of the preamble. We're going to go into spoilers now. The Cobweb, Peter, shy little boy, 8-year-old. He lives with his parents, they're like overbearing, but they're emotionally distant. And one night, Peter, it's Halloween time. He wants to go trick or treating. But parents say no, can't go, because mysterious disappearance had happened a long time ago, and whatever. Child went missing, can't go trick-or-treating. And one night, Peter, he hears tapping, this weird tapping sound in his walls, and his parents dismiss it, but over time, the tapping increases, and then just starts hearing voices, a voice of a little girl. Little voice starts telling him to do stuff, and then starts informing him of details. Perhaps the parents are not to be trusted, and so we have to learn who this voice is, what's going on with the voice in the walls, why the parents are so strange and acting so weird, and it's all in this point of view of this poor little boy who's just having a rough go of it. So there's also a substitute teacher who kind of befriends him. I guess that's really the other characters. There's like a little Gary Busey-looking boy, bully boy. Nicole, what'd you think of Cobweb?
I guess I'm trying to find the connection of the title to the movie still.
That's what I thought. As soon as this was done, I was like, the thing came up. I'm like, oh, I forgot this was called Cobweb. Why? I mean, I guess because the creature is a spider? Spider person? I mean, we're in spoilers, but
what really constitutes as a creature? I mean, are we on the same page that I can't fucking tell what this being is supposed to be? Is it a human that's been abused, or is it a goblin? Is it like a
goblin?
Is it like an entity that doesn't exist? Is it like a possession of a real person? Like, what is it? What is this sister supposed to be?
I think our explanation, I mean, it's in the movie logic, it's like, you know how you have like the deformed child, and then they lock it away, and then it becomes like a villainous monster.
Well,
That's
yeah,
basically that's
but
what we're doing here. I mean, sometimes they become the Penguin in Batman. Sometimes they become the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and in this case, the girl became Cobweb. I guess that's what we call her.
but is she? I guess she's supposed to be like spider-esque the way she crawls around, but like her head turns backwards, and she's got super strength, and like
her hair is really long and it like drags. Maybe that's supposed to look webbish. I agree with you. The title could be not this. There's nothing about a cobweb. A cobweb, in case you didn't know, it's an abandoned spider web. So like the actual definition of a cobweb is a spider web that like it's been abandoned by its spider.
Covered in dust.
And it's covered in dust. It's an inactive spider web. Did you know that? I didn't know that until maybe a year ago. Oh, really? I didn't know that until recently. Like this is within the past year. I was like, oh, like they say cobweb. I'm like, oh, what's the difference cobweb and spider web? But that makes this make even less sense, because if she's a spider, she's not a spider. She's the spider. She's not a cobweb. She's not abandoned. There's no dust gathering.
I guess that could lead into. And by the way, another producer on this film is Seth Rogen. By the way, which is
I saw that, and Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen are like a producer. They make all those Sausage Party, the Your Highness, Pineapple Express, those movies. Yeah, weird.
But maybe she's like. Maybe the house is supposed to be the abandonment, and she's the spider that was shunned out of her home. I don't know.
It's a bad title. I don't get why it's called Cobb. I'll have to do a little light reading here while we're talking, because I forgot what it was called when we were watching.
The website's consensus reads this itsy bitsy horror film creeps and crawls.
Yeah, that's like the Rotten Tomatoes
right. So
consensus.
Are they just really trying to tie this together? Are they trying to string us along, tie the threads?
That's what the Rotten Tomatoes consensus always is. It's always some quippy little amalgamation of the reviews, or like it's the consensus, and then I don't know who it is. Someone on the Rotten Tomatoes site writes like a quippy little a little thing.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty clear miss for me in terms of the advertising title of this to try to grab me. I'm expecting a spider girl, and I don't think it came across as a spider.
We should have talked about Madam Web then. Maybe we should.
No, I don't want it to be a spider girl, but if it's called Cobweb, I'm assuming there will be a spider girl and spider space girl, and it's really not. But okay. Well, at least we are kind of on the same page with that. This movie feels very similar to, and I don't want hate on this, I'm just talking about like the setup, I guess, and I'm not very familiar with these movies, but feels like an Insidious or like a Hereditary setup, or like any sort of creepy kid movie. They're always the same setup where the shots are like showing the teacher in the classroom by herself, and it's like I can't even explain it. It's like really high quality but like mysterious. I don't know. They all have the same setup. Like it didn't feel new or different to me at all. In fact, I felt
derivative.
Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's late and my brain isn't working, but I'm trying to say like the shot of a single person in the shot with a really crisp, clear background, and then it blurs and it's just the person standing there, and she reads her phone and she's like, like I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a suspenseful static shot, and the motion of the zoom of the camera is conveying a
that's I know I'm saying a lot of words to mean something small. I'm trying to say, but it feels used already. Like dinner table shots are always the same. So none of that felt new. The hole in the wall reminded me of the telephone movie that we just watched with Ethan Hawke.
Oh, Black Phone, yeah.
Getting put into the basement, like all that stuff. Every time we talk about a horror film, I swear to God, we say the same things. Like, what's new about this? I'm sure there's exclusions to that, but so yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel anything fresh or new. And the teacher is always the concerned citizen in the whole group, and has to go out of her way and do things, and gets stuck in this predicament. Like, ugh, I don't know, it's boring. I'm curious of what you think about, like, what the turning point, like the plot twist of what happens with the dinner scene where he poisons his parents. Do you think that the story is real, like, of what she's saying, or do you think it's all a big misunderstanding?
What do I think?
Do you
really...
think that they actually were abusive and hurt her or whatever on Halloween, or do you think it's just this, like, demon being just trying to dig out of this wall scenario?
I can't think of what movie it was. The derivative is a good way to think of it, because there's a lot of other. I was thinking of Malignant a lot while watching this, because the third act is very Malignant with the
that
with the girl
and the other
around.
one with Sosie Bacon, where it's like she's in that
Smile
padded cell or whatever. Like, it all feels the same. And then there's that other one where they're in the psych unit. I can't remember that other one's like a padded room. They all feel the same.
Unsane.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're all. I hear where you're. There's only so many. Gotta have the creepy girl with the long hair. You got the dinner table shots. You got a basement. The old creepy Victorian house. There's only. This is a pretty stock thing. So then it goes. What's going to be your enjoyment of the execution of the tropes? And then I'm watching this first, like, 20 minutes, and I'm just like, it's one of those where I'm like watching. I'm like, they are just. This it's one of those movies where it reminded me of Black Phone, that just kids just get the shit beat out of them by, like, life. Like, bullies just mean and horrible, and no one likes you, and your parents don't like you, and now your house is haunted. And you're right, there's one nice adult, and it's a teacher, but it's the substitute teacher. They have no power. They're removed from everything.
It's the Zooey Deschanel of this movie.
Yeah, there you go. It's there's always a
Zoe.
There's always a Zoe, but the kid's a good kid. I like he's a good tormented child. Good creepy parent performances. I thought Lizzie Kaplan she's the best one in this for me. Like, she kind of steals all the scenes she's in. Her mom character and has to be scary, creepy, but like, also like a believable person, like a believable, like, in the world. It's also weird because you're getting the whole thing from the kid's point of view, so it's kind of fairy tale-ish. Like, the parents seem extra arch and evil to an exaggerated degree, and I don't think it's supposed to be because we're watching this and be like, oh, that's like what a parent would act like. It's like, this is from a kid's perspective. These decisions these adults are making don't make any sense, so they just seem mean and scary and cold and distant. And it's not till the third act we understand why. I mean, I guess, how much are you expecting what happens in the third act to happen? What are you expecting when he kills the parents and the sister is unlocked from the doom?
I mean, once the mom is, like, down for the count, and she says, "Don't let her out of there." I believe her, because this is so out of the realm of my imagination that this child is alive and fine. Like, they never allude to her being, like, fed or anything, so I'm like, what is going on?
So you're thinking too logic brain with all this, like, how would you keep a child locked up? How is she so strong? Why is she?
If this clock is so heavy and shit, like, how are they Are they throwing meat into
The substitute
into a
teacher,
dumbwaiter and pulling it down? Like, what's going on?
like in Pet Sematary, they have the dumbwaiter in Pet Sematary.
Yeah, like that's the line of logic where I can't tell what is supposed to be happening. Is this? I'm reading the plot here too, and it says that they don't want him to go trick or treating because of a disappearance of a young girl several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it doesn't say. We don't get to the conclusion if that is their child that they hid away, or did they steal a kid and put her in there. Or...
I got to the conclusion that we're supposed to believe the parents killed that kid, and the sister in the wall is like, they killed her and they're keeping me in here and they're gonna kill me and then they're gonna kill you. Like, we get the sister's like feeding that information, and then we find out I think we're supposed to believe that the sister killed the little girl, and in order, the parents, as like a defense mechanism, locked her away to keep her away from
the good guys at the end of the day.
Well, the good guy, as good as they could be, is that like, that's the thing, is like, I think it's too I think it's like lesser of two evils kind of thing. Like, bad guys are putting away a monster.
I mean, they did their job of creating that confusion because, you know, they've got creepy parts. They've got the dad hovering at night in his room, like in the corner. Yeah, that's fucking creepy.
I've never watched The Boys, but that guy, I sometimes see clips of that Homelander guy who he plays. I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense why this is a good creepy guy you hate.
Yeah,
kind of.
And then the jump scare of the mom when he's trying to dial the phone real quick, and you know, where she's like pops up behind him. I like all that because it did leave me still unsure of what's happening. So when it comes to the final act of everything, and I don't think I was expecting all these young men to die. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that we haven't brought up yet that I'm not really sure what the fuck's going on. When we see Peter outside, and he digs up a fucking ancient burial ground or whatever he's doing, it's skeleton.
Well, that's a little girl, I think we're supposed to believe, is the little girl is buried in the backyard of the pumpkin patch.
I didn't put two and two together here. That is fucking stupid.
Well, what's that stupid that...
I don't know. I don't know. This is... I probably wasn't paying attention anymore at this part of the movie, honestly.
No. You thought there was an unrelated body buried in the backyard and not connecting it to the little girl's disappearance?
I thought that this creature was the girl that disappeared the whole time. I didn't.
Oh, you thought she was like a ghost, maybe?
I don't know. She's crawling backwards with her head hanging upside down. I don't fucking know what that thing is supposed to be.
I think that's part of the problem for me with the third act is that it's an insecure ending. It's like because up till the third act, I was on board as like a genuinely scary. I didn't know it was gonna happen. I knew I figured we weren't done. Like, I knew that once the parents died, I didn't think she would actually do it and execute it and do it right there. And then I'm like, all right, well, we got 20 minutes left. What are we going to do? The girl's got to be something wrong. But I was hoping for not what we got, because what we got is the basic, I tricked you. They even do the voice. I don't like the classic
You'll
demon
be
voice
upset when I come back, and I'm going to kill you next.
I just wish we were in the modern age. That's just not, like, our villains, our monsters don't need to talk like this.
That's the whole,
come on.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the confusion, because based on prior knowledge of my 30 years of life, and I haven't seen a fraction of the films that would relay into this, but having a voice like that, immediately in my mind, I'm like, that's a non-human entity. That is a monster, a creature, a demon. Like, that's not a person. So is that supposed to be a person? And that's the whole problem that I have with this, is I still don't understand what this thing is supposed to be. I don't get it at all.
No, it's not a satisfactory ending, because I would want to be led to I would like some sort of explanation for everything. And I don't. The explanation we get is it's so vague. It's basically like, when you were born, they celebrated. When I was born, they screamed, or whatever she says. Like,
so is it like the Hereditary child?
Well, I don't think they said that to her. That poor little. It's a real girl with a real face. But
well, yeah, but the context of that movie makes her to be a hideous monster.
No, that's not the context. That movie, she becomes her spirit is like whatever. Yeah, not about Hereditary. But where was I going with this? The third act, up till then, I thought everything was pretty serious, and like I was gonna get some sort of satisfying psychological payoff. Maybe I was missing something, and I was gonna go, oh, that's why. But I don't go, oh, at the end. I go, all right. Like she's just an evil sister, and she's deformed, and we're doing the movie thing where, like, if you're deformed, you have superhuman strength, and you're evil, because just like, and that's it. There's no additional. We don't get any other information. The parents lock her away, and then we have the kids come back so that we can have an action sequence, because it's just a movie reason. Like, there's not a lot of, like, big fight sequences. There's the jump scare dream sequence, which I actually think is I'm not always a jump scare guy. I like the jump scare dream sequence in this, with the dad chattering the teeth in the corner, and then the mom runs in the hallway, but it's kind of edited in a way that's not quite the traditional how you'd expect. So there were good bits leading up, and then the end is just like, it's the fight from Malignant, where she's flipping around with the hair and stabbing all the kids, and blood splattering like crazy. But up to this point, I didn't think it was gonna be Schlockfest time. I was taking the movie pretty seriously, and then I get the voice, and I'm splattering people, and I resent you. And then the teacher shows up. Like I know, like it. I was taking it pretty seriously, and I feel like the last 20 minutes is like kind of like, throw our hands up in the air. Hope you enjoyed the ride, but we don't really know what we're doing actually. So even the very ending, like they defeat her. They do have a kind of fun mood to defeat her. They grab the hair, and then they swing it, like the swinger. Or what is the hair's hanging, and he uses it to like climb out of the pit, and then they like yank her. It's like a whole pulley system thing with her hair. But again, at this point they've given up their hardcore tone and have given in to the sillier tone, which usually I like when the movie's boring me. But I was kind of on board with it until then. I kind of wish it didn't cop out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's been a horror movie that I've seen recently, and again, I haven't seen as many as you have, but where the ending is like satisfactory. It's just always like, oh, that was the end. But I did like the twist of Peter, the way that he killed his parents. I really did like that.
Yeah, it took me too long. It took me as long as the parents, basically, to figure out what was going on. Soup's good. Just different. And then they were really focusing on it, and I'm like, why are they focusing so much on the soup? And then you were like, you kidding me? I'm like, I don't know, just focusing on the soup a lot. And then I was like, oh, he followed through with it.
Even when they said, oh, it tastes like cinnamon, you still weren't connecting the dots.
I didn't. What tastes like cinnamon?
The rat poison smelled like cinnamon.
No, I didn't.
Or he told the son that the rat poison tastes like cinnamon or something for the rats. Because they were setting up rat traps because the noise is in the wall.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anywho.
Would you recommend Cobweb?
No. It was kind of lame.
I'm on the fence. I don't know.
Just say no.
I don't know, though. I think I will. I think I'm going to soft recommend it. Because I think this... It's more of it's on the effort scale. Horror movies just kind of need effort, and I think this had some effort. It kind of took tropes and put some directorial work into it. The actual filmmaking of the movie, I actually liked. I think they kind of took a pretty bare bones premise. Like, it's just like, I live in the walls, but we find out so quickly it's a girl, and then we find out so quickly, the way they dole the information out is actually good. Like, I do want to know more, and I do want to know the answer, and the parents are acting weird, and I want to know more about these things, and I don't fully trust anybody, so I'm on the hook until the end, and then it's an unconfident ending, but it's not it's a silly ending, but it's not an unentertaining ending. It's not like it's a total. What was that one I just watched the other day with Nicholas Braun? That one with the girl and they're going on dates, and she's stalking him, or is he stalking her? You walked in at the end of it. They're texting. Cat person, yeah. There's one where like I was kind of with it all the way, and then the third act completely falls on its face so horribly embarrassing that it's like almost irredeemable. Where this is like, the third act is silly and bad, but and it's not with the rest of the movie, but at least it's not like I get some blood splatter. At least I get the hair swinging trap. But the voice, I don't like the voice. The voice is stupid. I don't want to hear the voice anymore. So is it? Do you recognize the voice, by the way?
Am I supposed to?
No, you're not at all. But I was just a fun fact.
No, tell me.
So Deborah Wilson from Mad TV.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we always like to point out Mad TV and alums. They're in weird. They show up in weird places. Not like SNL. SNL alums much different career path than Mad TV alum. Anyway, mixed reviews on Cobweb. One very soft recommend and one not recommend, saying it was kind of boring. So, Cobweb. You thought you were going to get Madam Web, but you got Cobweb. And honestly,
I was watching Spider-Man.
Yeah, you did. We can still go see. I'll go see Madam Web again. I'll be the only person on the planet.
No,
I had to go see because I thought I wanted to. I had heard so bad it was good, and yeah, maybe we'll talk about that some other time. So, if you have things to recommend to us, Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram, or the tournament should be wrapping up. You probably got a couple more votes in, so when it's going to be coming up. Got Oscars coming, and yeah. Any final recommendations, suggestions, questions, all that other stuff, you can email the show, filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. I think I'll give my Instagram one more time for the tournament. Brennan_podhost on Instagram. Brennan_podhost. All right. Thank you, Nicole, for being on Cobweb.
Okay.
Till next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening. Enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening, and enjoy your movies.